let's move to, you are our last speaker for this session, that we wanted, to tackle and to deep dive in the innovations for the physical payment, even if cryptocurrency is a hot topic and everybody is pushing to understand more how it will work. Let's go to, I invite all the speakers to join the stage, at least those able to make it, because we are late and some speakers have their own, engagement. Let's go and join me to the stage to start this roundtable. It will be around biometrics roadmap. Clearly, this is one of the big question is biometrics roadmap and security for biometrics. And the other trend is the physical payment, means how to handle crypto wallets. This is also the topic that we had a lot of questions and that I wanted to handle it too. Now if you wanted to start with the biometrics and how biometrics will be, in the future, I would like to ask everyone his vision or her vision, because we are lucky to have one lady at least with us. Your vision about biometrics and tomorrow biometrics in payment. It will be integrated everywhere. I really wanted today to learn and to hear about your vision and your company next milestone for biometrics product. Let's start with Andre.
Yes, Hanan. I think that, as I said in my presentation, I have a vision that biometrics will become as ubiquitous on cards as they are on mobile phones. Remember that, Apple introduced iPhone 5S with biometrics, and within a period of 5 years, it has grown to more than 75% penetration. And I believe that we are going to see exactly the same type of development. As volumes grow, prices will come down and penetration will become higher.
Higher penetration.
Higher penetration, meaning that more or less every payment card will be biometric by the end of this decade. And that will mean that we will probably have more than 1 billion biometric payment cards being issued each year.
What is the milestone for Zwipe, Andre? Next milestone.
For the next big milestone for us will be the certification of our ZwipePay One card with multiple card manufacturers who are already in the process of doing the certification.
Okay, thank you so much for sharing with us this. Same now a question to Bastien. What is for you? I know that you answered that you are thinking, EMVCo is thinking about it, but I think knowing your background, you have already a vision about it. And how do you think the next milestone for EMVCo?
Sure. So yeah, indeed, biometrics. First of all, biometrics is already there, and you mentioned it. On the phones it works. So it's not only fingerprinting, but it's also all the other kind of biometrics that you could potentially think about. In terms of specification, for example, EMVCo already included biometrics verification by a card, so match on card for contact transactions if need be. We had interesting presentations on biometric on cards, but indeed biometrics will also be used for any other use cases for payments, and as well non-payment, by the way. Authenticating to a website, opening your car, or whatever else. So definitely biometrics will continue to grow, no doubt about this. In terms of EMVCo, what we are doing now is really working with FIDO Alliance, for example, in terms of technical liaison and make sure all our specification works well together. As I mentioned, we already improved or announced our contact specifications for the terminals to support any kind of biometrics. So we really follow the trend. As usual, we don't want to limit innovation, so we need to standardize at the right stage, not too early and not too late, which we always try to do based on the feedback that we receive from our associates. Again, no doubt that biometrics will evolve and continue to grow. Thank you.
Thank you. Rosaline, how you see this biometrics, evolution or revolution in the customer experience? You have a great experience about it. How you see it from your perspective, from Diebold Nixdorf perspective?
Thank you. So I think, like some of you mentioned, biometric is not new. If I can share, I remember me, and I have one of my former colleagues here from Ingenico. I see Santiago. So I was already selling POS with biometric in Africa like 10, 15 years ago for microfinance institution for people, that are not able to read. And so it's not something new. I mean, it's something, that is very useful, because you can touch some people that do not have access to you just can't read. I mean, it's maybe something stupid, but we still have a lot of people in this situation in a lot of places of the world. And I manage Europe, but I manage as well Africa, where we still have a lot in this region. And of course, I mean, it's evolving. I'm not a specialist of biometry, I have to say. I guess we have more specialists in this room. But I think, for example, from Diebold Nixdorf perspective, we are having all our ATM are enabling, biometric recognition, to be able to be used by everyone, everywhere, on an ATM. So I think it's, something that will continue to be there. And again, that is, going to evolve definitely like many other authentication methods.
Thank you so much. Let's go now to Nexo with Santiago, and just let us know what is the roadmap for Nexo, and how you will handle the biometrics for next year.
So before that, Hanan, thanks for inviting Nexo again. And I will fully support what Bastien said, that the biometrics can only grow. And is very well linked with someone that Rosaline made very clear, is make it simple. Because biometrics is a simple way to add security to the transaction. And as Bastien said, it's not only about fingerprinting, it can be voice, it can be face ID. And in regards with that, the biometric plus the machine learning, artificial intelligence, and so on, I think this is something that will be discussed later on fraud, for example, is able, for example, to recognize me when my beard is growing. So from the captor point of view, I'm a different one, but I'm so close to the previous version of yesterday that even if my VR is growing, the artificial intelligence and the machine learning learns that it's me. So that's the first point. The second point is about we need to pay a lot of attention in terms of security on the biometrics, because if you lose or your password is compromised, you can change your password, but you cannot change your fingerprint. You cannot change definitely very quickly your face or your voice in terms of biometrics. So this is something that you cannot lose because you cannot replace, okay? So this is a very important point. And then to your question, Hanan, in our roadmap, the strategy working group is working on the future, because we would like to have a standardized approach instead of a fragmented landscape of everyone doing his own thing to apply the biometrics authentication to the payment. Okay, so I think there's a way to go to use common approach on these biometrics. So probably something to be definitely standardized.
Yeah, I think so. Means the experience, I can say it because I have many years in the industry, and as soon as we solve a problem, behind this problem is a standard. I know that the creative people does not like this, but this is the truth. As soon as we find the standard and the common frame, to deploy the technology, it's growing rapidly. This is for sure. This is why I think it's good that Nexo and Ambico, sustain do the new technology and start to work really on biometrics, but also cryptocurrency. Means this is something coming very, very fast. And this is what we see. Thank you so much, Santiago. And let's now go to Lionel and see if he handled use cases on biometric in his mobile applications and his vision about it, and what is the next milestone for FAMOCO.
Thank you, Hanan. Yes, at FAMOCO, perhaps I would say 30% of the transaction we handle are biometric transaction. And there are two ways of looking at biometry, and I'll give you some very concrete examples. So one is, of course, to enhance security, but also biometry enhance also data privacy. For example, we have a very large network of acceptance with the UN, where we digitalize humanitarian voucher for the United Nations. We have around 15 million beneficiaries, and they are all biometrically identified. And the reason why they are biometrically identified is because it's guaranteed their privacy. Sometimes you don't have their names and their ID. They don't have even a passport or an ID. You don't know who they are, but they have a unique biometry. And when you give something to someone, you know for sure that's always the same person. So in those cases, biometry is really key. The second one is, for example, in Ghana, we have a huge biometric scheme, and the country, the Central Bank of Ghana, is using biometric scheme in order to pay allowances, so retirements and all the subsidies. And it's difficult to say, but the real reason is they use biometry as a proof of life, because if you have a biometry, means that you're really much alive. And so when you need to pay retirement, the first thing you need to make sure is the people you're going to pay is still exist. So the third one is about the convergence between identity and payment. And if you look at, for example, we cannot talk about biometry without talking about India and Aadhaar. Aadhaar is 1.7 billion people have been biometrically identified. And today you can almost pay with your finger. So the idea of being identified, and then you can pay without the plastic, because you see the biometry in the plastic, but you can see also a trend, which is the biometry instead of the plastic. So those are fantastic trends, and we see that in a lot in Africa, but not only in Africa. We see biometry growing everywhere. And perhaps the last very short comment is, as you already mentioned, biometry is not only fingerprints, and today we see a huge trend combining 2 or 3 different biometry in one single digital ID, using only the camera as the identifier. And MasterCard, for example, has a fantastic program called Compass, Community Pass, doing exactly that. So it's very interesting and worth following.
Thank you so much. Let's go to Angus, and let me link this to what Santiago, put on the chat. Angus also said very well, mobile devices and soft POS are the future. He believes on you 100%. You have a fan, Angus. And he said, and these devices are nowadays loaded with tons of biometric capabilities. Means he thinks that with the mobile and your solution, this will unleash a lot of capabilities. What do you think about this? You are on mute.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think for it's a very good question. Thanks, Santiago.
I guess.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear you.
Yeah, I think for biometrics is actually is a kind of identifications, and I do agree with everyone that is a biometrics that actually is the way for go for the payment system, and me personally before myself, I was actually involving in the biometrics as well. So the question asked about device are more equipped with biometrics, and this is what I talk about the futures. In the stop loss today, it's a more like an acceptance device. Means that we use the stop loss to accept the credit card payment. It seems like nothing much to do with the biometrics unless you're the one to unlock your device, something like that. But in the future, what we can see is a software is not only for the acceptance or not only for the payment card. We are talking about we can put e-commerce together, cryptocurrency together, something like that. So all these we will release with very strong authentication. So this is what I can see is in the future, the software can expand even further, not only like acceptance device, it's actually combining is a consumer device and a merchant device together. So in one day, I may be the one carrying the stop loss. I can use it for e-commerce. Then I need to authenticate myself, and I can at the same time I use it for the a shop. I mean, card present, offline payment as well. So this is something I can see about the stop loss in the future. And we talk about the biometrics, like it actually is more for the talk about authentication. And the one thing very important for biometrics in the payment ecosystem, it may not be really related to support, is the financial inclusion. I mean, a lot of countries like Indian, African countries, they use the biometrics for the financial inclusions because they may not have an ID card, they may not have a bank card, but what they have is the fingerprint. What they have is the face. So biometrics is very, very good for the financial inclusions for those countries. This is what I can see how biometrics contribute or being used in the financial inclusion.
Thank you so much. Now let me provoke Jean-Baptiste. Just a question, I hope you will not hate me later. If we have biometrics, do you really need your technology? If you have biometrics, to identify people, do you need CVC? You are on mute.
Okay, it's a cool question, and then because in reality, I'm pretty sure that in the coming week, month, quarter, I'm pretty sure that some discussion will be open between some guys that are managing biometric and some others that are doing DCVV. I'm pretty sure. Now, the main question for biometric and for DCVV, because today we are all under discussion around security. But I like one example that SPS worked on and with Ion Group. We are working on some market where the consumer are purchasing cool effects. And I'm pretty sure that the consumer at the end will purchase cool effects. And my question for biometric, for DCV, for all the new tools that will be developed for the European market, the US market, the Latin American market, how will we be able to create this cool effect? Some created with metal cards, some created with biometric, some created with DCVV. So my question around biometric is not, is biometric a part of the future? Yes, obviously. And I hope that SPS will be part of this future with a swipe, a fingerprint, and the other. But now my main question around this market is how to deploy this one quickly with another message than security, because the people, I think, prefer purchasing cool things than security, unfortunately. And so around me, I have some cards about BNP, for example, and the people like it. It's cool. Now, how to work with the issuer worldwide to explain that they will be able to use this cool effect to create the top of the wallet offer that is the one that the people want to create. When we discuss with Chase in the USA, what they want to be sure that the card will be the first use in the wallet. And I'm pretty sure that biometric will be a part of this strategy for the big bank to create this top of the wallet behavior for the consumer.
Andre or Roger, you wanted to, okay. I mean, he already answered. Roger, you wanted to comment, or it's okay for you?
No, sure, I can comment a bit. I think also I think this is important at the end. What is the customer demand, right? How this technology can simplify my day-to-day life, right? And we all step back a few months ago, years ago, how it is easy to unlock your phone using biometrics today, right? And at Fingerprints, we have a strong experience in this. Again, a track record of more than 1.5 billion of sensors delivered. We are more than 10 billion unlock per day, right? So we know pretty well how it is the effect of to simplify the life, right? So the first thing I would say, we need to look at the customer demand. How it is easy today, you know, to avoid friction because of this payment cap. Right? Why I should pay? I should put my PIN code after 50 euros or 100 pounds in UK, for example. You know, for the customer itself, it doesn't make sense, right? Why? If I have biometrics, I don't need to take care about my. I can forget, as I said, I almost forget my PIN code today, because it brings security and convenience, right? And in the top of that, it brings the similar user journey, because all the banks, you know, when you talk to banks, they have a multiple products and solutions to offer to their customers. Should I offer metallic cards, buy now, pay later, you know, instantaneous payment, you know, they have a multiple mobile payment. It's one of the points, right? But at the end, when you talk to marketing people and the customers, they say, yeah, but, you know, every time I would pay with my mobile payment, I have to authenticate myself with biometrics. So I want a very similar, very smooth experience using my biometric card. And that's really the key we want to address using biometric cards. How I can get a very smooth and similar experience using my mobile phone or using my biometric card. If we achieve this all together, because I think all in this, all attendees, they are convinced about biometric cards, right? But the first of all, the customer needs to be convinced about that. Because the banks, they will propose that kind of solution. That's really important. And if I can speak 2 words about the future, I think the future will be to spread this user journey, you know, because all the regions, they don't use the cards on the same way. Some of them, they use more mobile payment than cards. Europe, as you can see, we still use 75% or more than that, they trust cards because it's about trust. Can I trust that card when I do a payment? And mobile payment in Europe, even in France, is less than 10%. So it will continue for a period of time. If you go to Latin America, it's probably the same, right? They trust a lot biometrics to authenticate the people. And that's really the regions we see where the biometric cards will grow. And the third point, then I finish. This is the capacity, because we are looking about the billions of cards, as we said, right? What is the capacity of partners to deliver these volumes of cards tomorrow, right? At the cost that we are expecting. This is really also key, because we can do a lot of prototypes, we can do a lot of things on the table, but at the end, are we all together part of the industry? Can we deliver those volumes at the price asked by the market tomorrow?
I think this is the biggest challenge. This is my feeling, at least, as this is the biggest challenge now. And this is Patrice. Unfortunately, he is not with us today, but this is his feeling that we need a little bit time, you know, to shrink again and to optimize the production of those kind of solutions. But it will come. Means we know very well that it's always difficult at the beginning, and brain is here to find solutions, and it will work. I'm not really concerned about it. I know that in 2 or 3 years, the silicon will be optimized, as well as the other, you know, the backend technology to make it happen. it's really great to see how much it's evolving. I look at my list. I have Magdi. Magdi, if we can have also you can give us your vision and the milestones for your company. I know. Are you connected yet? No, I think he disconnected. Valso, can you confirm that Magdi is not connected? Okay, I know that Patrice is not cannot join. This is for sure, and also Jerome.
Magdi is not connected, Hanan.
Yeah, he tried, and I don't know. He left the comment. I was checking all my list. Thank you so much for this great session. I appreciated every moment. It's so great to have experts and to have such kind of discussion. I think many companies and many people, take advantage and learn it a lot, but also I hope that will be transformed in business and in actions in next coming days. From our side, we will look at all the questions, and of course, we will send every speaker the questions. All your presentation will be in replays. Will direct access to send you message, to ask you question. Then you can continue to network and work with. Thank you, thank you, Andre.
Thank you.
To work
Very good.
and to with you. I'm disturbed. you succeeded to disturb me. This
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and also
Thank you.
please don't
Bonjour,
hesitate to
Bastien.
go to the booths and to visit everywhere. The objective, is also to continue your networking and discussion with our exhibitor, that with the booth. For people who enter directly to the conference center, you have just to click on exit and you will find our service in the payment main hall. When you have just to click on the panels to enter to the booth and visit and communicate with our exhibitor. Thank you again, Roger, and thank you for Fingerprints for sponsoring this event, as well as SecurIC. They are not in as speakers, but they have been also sponsors. Thank you so much. Let's have a 10-minute break, and we will come back to the next session about the crypto currency, Bitcoin, and digital payment. Thank you.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Au revoir. Thank you
Au
very
revoir.
much.
Merci à tous. Thank you so much for everybody.
Thanks.
Gracias.
Bye.